Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the third round of the ARC Porsche Supercup. I have to constantly remind myself that that's how you say that name. Honestly, how much do I care to say the name right? I hate their cars. Really do not like Porsche. Yeah, round 3, just ahead of the Formula 1 Grand Prix that will take place tomorrow, same location. We head to the streets of Monte Carlo. Oh boy. That is all. Oh boy. We've just gotten this qualifying session underway. There will be probably minor background noise for the first half of it or so. I'm not the one that pays the rent around here, after all, so... As we see, DIVEBOMB is about to head out of the final turn. He'll begin the first timed lap of the session as he heads down the front stretch towards Saint-Devote. I think I said that right. I'm not really European enough to know. Gets a bit of a wall tap on the way out. Heads up the hill towards what I believe to be Mirabeau and Massenet. No, wait, Massenet is downhill. So this is Casino Square? I know most of the corner names, but those three, that little section there, I don't remember which one's which. Then we have the lowest hairpin, or I've heard it sometimes just called the grand hairpin. Head down the hill towards the tunnel. Doing a little bit aggressive, a little slidey as he heads towards it. And now braking for the Nouvelle Chicane. Probably the hardest corner to take in this car. And tobacco, I don't know. The swimming pool section. And then La Rascasse to end off a lap of the Monaco circuit. DIVEBOMB has survived, so we'll see what the opening, the first hot lap of the session is. 32.6. Coming right out of the gate with that one. Who's the car in the swimming pool right now? Gabe Gazzola. Scrapes a bit of the paint off. Don't worry, that'll buff out later. Oh, almost smacks into that wall. We'll see what Gazzola does here. $36.5. Some of the breaking news heading into this race is Jurgens Meyer runs a 38.8. I can read. Let's see. More like the big names. I mean, they're all kind of in a row here, ironically. Wait, no, Julian was one of them in the last one. Logan Cool makes his ARC return after getting a little bit of an early vacation during the IndyCar Championship. The indefinite suspension has been lifted. He is back into racing competition. What will his first lap time back be? 44.9. That might have been an outlap, I'm not sure. sometimes depending on where your pit stall is, the game will count the first, like, the out lap as the lap time because you technically crossed the line after leaving your garage. Matthew Stotts jumped to second on the board, 34-2 for him. Clara Setchel, also I think making her first start in the Porsche Super Cup, I think. That, or they were in the first race, which I did not make it to, and I just didn't remember. Wait a minute, what am I talking about? I'm just slow. She was racing in Catalonia. That was exactly a week ago. My brain was already like, oh, Pixar didn't happen. But Alan Cavagnaro, with an interesting looking front end, he has made his surprise arc return today. I believe he said it was for the first time since like early 2022 or something like that, like March 22, with last year's Daytona 500. I think he said was his previous start. No, Francis Farin was in the previous round. I know he was in IndyCar, but I think this might be his Porsche Cup debut on the season. As AJ Knickel crosses with a 37.8. I don't quite think that was his peak performance right there. Jurgens Meyer ran a 35.4 in the background. That was an outlap as Logan improved to a 39.3. I think one of the more external stories is that the driver signing drama down at CLE has left Travis out of his ride in the what number was it? Just look at 17, I believe. Which is funny because he's the co-owner of the team and he lost his seat. Never safe in ARC. AJ takes a minute, but does get out of the way, heading towards the tunnel. He still has a ride, mind you. He's in the 77 apparently, but now not CLE anymore. Crabtree is the only driver thus far who has not made a lap as we're getting into the closing minutes here in qualifying. I'm getting the indication this isn't going to be anything like the F1 qualifying we got last weekend, which was actually like one of the most exciting things in a while in F1, and then it was followed by one of the most Grand Prix of all time. That was only interesting because the rain made everybody, all of these trained professionals, forget how to drive. Which are right on board with Dylan Bam as he begins his final flying lap of the session. He does a 32.4 leading into this lap, and we'll see if he can go up further from there. And keeping an eye on the leaderboard at the top to see if anything else develops while we are occupied with Dylan Bam's on board. Admittedly, with a 1.8 second difference between him and second place, I don't know if much is going to change. He's up by 7 thousandths, 007, James Bond moment. How appropriate since we're in Monaco. Or like Casino Royale, I guess. And this car up ahead might be royally slowing Dylan down. And that might be Setchel up there. I think the blue tint is actually AJ's. It's obviously 44R. And they've just botched the Nouvelle chicane, and Dylan has just smacked into the wall trying to get around them. He seems intent on continuing the lap, nevertheless. Maybe it damaged but didn't lose him much time. We'll see in a sec here as he crosses a sector timer. Oh, never mind, the sector timer was back at the exit of the chicane. I'm dumb. Okay, no, he's not. He's done. Alright, we'll switch to Matthew Stotts' on board. He's second on the starting grid up to this point, and we'll see if he can at least get within range of that 32.46. And with corner exits like that one, I don't think so. Have you noticed this track shaped like a music note when it's the track map's arranged this way? Oh, there's a spin up ahead. They managed to exit the racetrack in time. I couldn't actually make out what car that was, but it's definitely slowed Sots down as he thought he was having to check up for them there. He's pushing through the swimming pool. Who knows where he's gained or lost time in comparison to Bam in the lap. He might be trying to push through there to pull a Max Verstappen, but I don't think that's going to do enough. Francis Farren improved to third on the board with a 35-36. Stotts jumps to, I think that was a 36-1. Oh, I mean 34-1. Okay, and I can't read numbers apparently today. So he basically made up the difference that Dylan made. So it's still 1.6 back. Quite a skill gap here at Monte Carlo. That's honestly nothing new. As we first get this up on the screen. While we are sitting here waiting for all the strategies and such to be set, let us run down the full grid order for the Monaco Porsche Supercup event. It doesn't quite have the same ring as the Monaco Grand Prix, but regardless. Pole sitter by a healthy margin is Dylan Bam, followed by Matthew Stotts. Francis Farren with a very surprise lap time for a driver who's only making his first start in the championship in round 3. At Monaco, of all places. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer starts 4th. Gabe Kazilla starts 5th. Alan Cavagnaro with another solid lap from a driver who's been out of the driving seat, period, for over a year. Out-qualifying AJ Knickel. Travis Van Oostendorp will start 8th. Logan Cool, 9th. Julian Lozano starts 10th. Clara Setchel, 11th. And Tyler Crabtree starts last. I'm not really sure if he managed to complete a flying lap or not. Hopefully I have my fan running, because it's 89 degrees here. And this house is a bit of a heat sink. So, if the fan is picking up in the mic, oh well, I'm not turning it off, because I'm not going to do much commentating if I'm trying not to sweat myself to death. Good old heat tolerance. For a second, I had half the mind to check, like, oh, is the stream running? And then I remembered I literally got a comment in the middle of qualifying, so obviously it is. You have action. We're synchronizing. The red lights are ablaze, and the Monaco Grand Prix of Porsche is away. What? Why did I say that? And it looks like Matthew Stotts, who I thought was starting on the left, he's not. He's going to be wheeled to bump door to door with Dylan Bam heading out of turn 1. My F1 instincts kicked in there, obviously. No heroics in Descendivot, but that's only one part of the equation here. We got a lot of corners at Monte Carlo. Dylan Bam smacks into the wall a little bit. Matthew Stotts will seize the race lead. Behind there, we have Alan Cavagnaro, who had a decent start, got ahead of Jurgensmeyer off the jump, and tried to sneak ahead of Gabe Kazilla, but has failed. And it is a very slow procession heading down the hill. It almost seems like we're under yellow. Oh, that's because we are. Why? Well, I see a very destroyed AJ Knickel. I don't see any other cars destroyed, though, because Setchel was back there to begin with, and I couldn't tell. I didn't see much damage on that car, so... But, I don't see anybody else damaged, so... Unless AJ just self-inflicted, I don't really know how you could have done that at the speed we were going. Setchel's car is a little damaged, but it doesn't seem like it's at all proportional to how absolutely destroyed Knickel's vehicle is. And this, I fully expect to be the first of many of these yellow flags of the race. If we had like 6 in IndyCar at Long Beach, this track is even more difficult, and the cars are even bigger. Yeah, they're harder to break, but they're even bigger. He probably had a yellow because AJ might have blocked the track if his car got jackknifed. That's a possibility. Apparently, well, those cars won't just be pitting because they're already in the back. It's hard to say. Yeah, we know AJ was pitting. It seems he got together with Setchel, based on context, because I didn't really see anybody else's car looking damaged enough to have done that to AJ. Could all be a desynchronization, or maybe I'm just a dunce, but, you know, who knows. But yeah, we had like 6 yellows at Long Beach and IndyCar, so I expect to see probably about the same number today. I'm not exactly looking forward to it. AJ's car is still not fixed. That thing went through the ringer. And a car crusher, maybe. Thankfully, because I'm not part of a licensed official Formula 1 broadcast, I can afford to be a little more critical of this circuit. Therefore, I hate it. This track needs to be burned. I don't understand why we still race here and anything. The track produces poor racing in Formula 1 cars, but now we're driving cars that are like bigger and like bulkier. They might actually, honestly, they might be thinner. And the track in the unlicensed Monaco in this game may be wider than it is in real life, because licensing go burr. So maybe it's possible this track might actually be easier because of the fact that these cars are thinner. It's hard to say for sure, but either way, it's still not wide by any means. And passing here is going to be quite the commodity. You might be green here. Nope, because AJ's not here yet. And apparently Setchel has to pit again. Ay, caramba. Is that their top speed? What would the rhythmic clapping of the random people in the crowd that are for some reason watching this race? Well, we'll be green this time at least. Unless somebody hits somebody else under yellow, which, I mean, you can't really rule it out. Random seagulls. Alright, coming up to what should be the green flag once more. As I reposition my fan so it's actually hitting me as I sit up in my chair. We'll see if Dylan can get a good jump and maybe try something. I don't know how he'll do that though. And we are green. Matthew Stotts gets a okay jump. Actually, not much of one, but it's Monaco. You don't need a huge one to survive. Pandemonium, bit of systematic chaos near the back of the grid. Everyone wants to get those passes in now because they might not get another chance. And now, you know, in kind, everybody's single files. We have Julian Lozano up against the wall on the outside. That's created quite a bit of an accordion effect. I'm not actually allowed to look at what's happening in the downhill right. The camera literally cannot go there, as I just saw Such will pull a sneaky move on Logan Cool into the hairpin, and I believe his car might now be damaged from his hitting the back of Lozano a minute ago. Dylan cannot do anything into the chicane. Hypothetically the best passing zone on the track, but I think in practice we'll find it doesn't do much. Matthew Stotts takes a very conservative to back, and that throws Dylan Bam way off, and he ends up hitting the wall to avoid hitting the 14 car. The Stotts, that's what I was about to say, I kind of caught it. Francis Farr into pits. This is probably serving his mandatory, as that was the first lap where you could. Dylan Bam could not physically be any closer to Matthew Stotts without literally knocking his rear wing off. Does he pull? He thinks about it, but he does not go for it. Traffic is congested in the back. I mean, it's always going to be at Monte Carlo. The Superstream ain't much, but it's something. As they head towards the tunnel, nothing doing. Towards and or through. Knickel is right there with Tyler Crabtree. Oh, I missed. I did not think Dylan Bam would make a pass for the lead through there. Stotts hits him with a bit of a crossover, but that's going to be the wrong lane heading towards Larascas. As Stotts is slowly guided towards the outside wall, just by way of physics more than anything. And Dylan Bam is back in the lead after his obscene qualifying pace. Can Stotts plan an attack to try and take it back, or are we under caution again? That is a very damage to Alan Cabagnero. And there's number 2. One of these times they'll actually catch it. Maybe. Who knows? Not very much to report on, as we are under caution. That's kind of why I've just been going silent. This does bail out Logan Cool, and it will probably benefit the drivers that took their mandatories already, so I believe that would be Francis, and Gabe was in the pits when this was called. So that'll be counted for him as well. I think there was somebody else, but I didn't remember who that was like pitting when this happened. I want to say it was Lozano. Yeah, most everybody will be pitting here to get the mandatory out of the way. Apparently it was not Lozano, or it was, he's just pitting a second time then. And so with that, Francis Farin will seize the race lead over Gabe Cazola, with Setchel in third, Jurgensmeyer in fourth, and Logan Cool in fifth. Everybody else has just pit. And somehow AJ jumped Matthew in the pit lane. I guess probably Matthew had to fix some damage. My best guess. Apparently Travis's car was very damaged, and I was unaware of this. I knew Alan's was messed up. I didn't realize Travis's car was broken. He's been in the pits for a hot minute. My word. They're just giving him a whole new vehicle. Is he having to get into the backup car? That they obviously do not have, because this is not NASCAR. We're also on the pit limiter, so he might still be back in time anyway. Might. Toss up, to be honest. He should get here in time, but man, it's gonna be close. He's gonna be like pulling up to the queue as we head through La Rascasse. Or head up to, I should say, not through. Anywho, now with a completely new set of cars at the front, let's witness the madness that is about to go on as Francis Farin leads us back to the green for the third time in the race. And he floors it instantly. We are green once more for Monaco. And he got back off the gas, which you're not supposed to do. But it's only really hurt him, as Jurgensmeyer. That's not dumb. Gets Cazola, got way closer. I was saying Jurgensmeyer because he was also close to Setchel back here. And Logan Cool, maybe back in ARC, but he is no longer a part of Champ Racing. He got fired when that happened. He's now in the wall, I believe. No, that is Matthew Stott's in the wall. So that's quite an implication there. As we head down the hill and through the slowest hairpin on planet Earth, somebody scraped some paint off. I'm not really sure who. Stotts has taken P7 away from Logan Cool. I thought I just saw cars. Yeah, I sure did. It was Lozano overtaking Logan Cool. Oh, and now Lozano running to the back of Stott as he attempts to exit the chicane. And Lozano's car is banged up real good now. As Lozano heads to the back of the grid just to be out of the way with how broken his car is, I expect him... he's not pitting, interesting. Perhaps maybe assuming there will be another yellow, which is certainly not a bad guess to make. Oh, good lord, Claire Setchel has understeered a huge into... up the hill left. I think it's Mirabeau. And she has found a way to collect to every other car on the racetrack. And there is caution number 3. Francis is on the pit limiter. Oh yeah, finally caught it this time. Setchel just face planted right into the outside wall going up the hill. That was an ugly looking crash. That'd be kind of a scary one for real life, but it's a video game, so, you know, just... It's still a bit of a shocker to, a bit shock to the system, but you don't die in the game, you die in real life, you know? Alright, now that my nose has been cleared of any unwanted substance that would make it hard to breathe. It's the most elaborate way to say blew my nose ever, but here we are. For once I didn't mute the mic to burp or yawn by accident. Because I've been doing a bit of yawning under these safety cars, I can't lie. I mean, like, let's really... There's not much to look at here, and there isn't much of a point standings, because we've only done 2 races, and a lot of drivers missed one of those 2 races, like Dylan Bam, who missed last week, for example. So, or, I mean, the fact that the points, or the race leader, excuse me, is in the midst of their first start on the season. Francis is not really part of the points battle, because he just got here, you know? There's nothing to look at. What is with that dumb clapping? It sounds so weird. Yeah, so Julian was just holding out for that safety car, which he then promptly received. I was not aware... Oh no, Jurgen's mind is probably fixing because he probably drove into Clara Setchel. And then obviously Clara Setchel is pitting because she crashed. That, yeah, duh. But all of these pit stops have sort of paled in comparison lengthwise. Well, This one's a little longer still, but apparently today is just not a good day to be a 44R driver, as both of them have been in pretty big crashes that have dealt pretty bad damage to their car. And a lot of vehicles got a piece of Setchel when she crashed a moment ago. Most cars that were like fourth on back didn't. Well, Setchel being fourth, so obviously fourth on back, yeah. Like, I think AJ got a slice. I think Stotts drove into him. Logan did. I think Crabtree got a piece of him. Seagulls. Why am I shocked to hear seagulls? I don't know why I'm like, oh, birds of the ocean. Yeah, Riker. We're on an ocean. Yeah, there's definitely sea out that way. Can't see it because it's a trackside camera, but if we look at this camera, sea, water, see the sea, because apparently I don't know what I'm seeing here. Yeah, AJ has a time limit penalty, and since it's only 1 second, it probably will stand. Clear my Discord notifications while I have a minute. Everybody is here except for Setchel, who's in the chicane. I do not know if Setchel will get here in time. If so, it'll be like literally out of the last turn, but I do not think so. We might go green anyway. We've done that before. We are going green anyway. We are doing it again. Francis leads us back to the green flag at the end of our third caution period. We're not even halfway through the race. He gets away quite well. Dylan Bam is on the hunt. He's going to sneak up the inside of Cazzola. He got a better exit too, but they're still too wide. They're creating space. So Dylan is very understeery, and he's been rung up against the outside wall. What the heck was that? That's cost him some time. Kaneko wants to take advantage of this fact, but he cannot. Matthew Stotts is disconnected. That was what we saw just a second ago. It was him DCing from the race. So that just made things so much easier for Dylan, as his main competition is no longer here. I think we just watched Allen grab 5th away from Travis, and we saw Lozano take 8th away from Logan Cool. These three are still pretty tightly packed, though. But then again, most people are, as Francis runs very wide at the Nouvelle Chicane and has to concede positions, give up a time gain. He's now back to 4th. AJ, Dylan, and Gabe all making their way ahead of him following that error. And speaking of error, Dylan Bam does the Dylan Bam thing. I can't look at his car. There we go. He has spun from an advantageous position. I mean, it is a Porsche at the end of the day. What honestly can you expect besides random oversteer? Francis also pits. He must have taken damage during whatever went on just then. That puts Dylan down. Doesn't put him out, though, especially considering we've sort of developed a record of cautions thus far. Somehow I feel like it won't be long before that happens again, as AJ is just breaking the gearbox to try and make up little inches of time on Cazzola, and there is a madness in the background as if I've spoken into existence. Allen has looped it out of Casino Square. That collected, I believe, Van Oostendorp. Has that been a safety car? It looks like it is not. I thought for a second I'd spoken a safety car into existence. It's like the one thing I don't want to do. I wish to watch a motor race, not a funeral procession. Setchel looking for a way around Logan. Nobody has their headlights on. Allen's suspension damage has prevented him from making the chicane. give up that spot to Bam, who's not doing terribly considering where he was a minute ago. Satchel ahead of Cool, heading through the Nouvelle Chicane. Seagulls. I think we just heard Knickel getting to the wall a touch there. Lozano's in a surprise 5th place following the chaos caused by Allen a minute ago. Jurgensmeyer looks to rectify this. Oh, AJ Knickel got Porsche. He has spun heading up the hill and with 2 cars behind. Oh, are lucky to avoid. Lozano does not, though. Because I believe that might be a bit of a blind corner, so if somebody wasn't aware that AJ was spun there, it'd be easy to not know he was. Yes. It's not the prettiest day for 44. I almost said 84. What? AJ4R, yeah. Never heard of that team before me. Travis turned in too early for the Nouvelle Chicane. He gained quite a bit of time from that. I don't really know if that's... I don't think that's valid. Julian running into AJ's stricken car has lost him a lot of time in some positions. He's now down to 7th, just as I was speaking about him. Or no, that's 6th. I can't read. As Logan Cool outbreaks Satchel, who has now spun going down the Nouvelle Chicane, and AJ has spun braking for the Nouvelle Chicane. God, 44R is really not looking like themselves today at all. Synchronized errors for the 244R machines. And Logan Cool is there to happily pick up the scraps. Meanwhile, the 2 HRT cars in the back, because apparently that's what this is since Alan's on the team, it must be HRT. The only team having a worse day than 44R up to this point, and honestly, if and once they pit for the damage that they have sustained, it might be worse. As Satchel is currently driving like she's drunk, or at least she was exiting La Rascasse, and AJ is literally obeying the pit speed limits on the way into the pits, much less when in it. So I believe it is, yeah, passed by Francis Farr and danger of being overtaken by Allen. Meanwhile, the 2 leaders have caught up to the back of Cavagnaro. We'll see I should say when they get there. They're going to get there unless we have a safety car in the next, couple of minutes. And by couple of minutes, I mean couple of turns, and we're like... AJ has been demoted to dead last, but Cavagnaro pits as well. So he is no longer in dead last. They are both a lap down now, as Travis Van Oostendorp has caught up to Cazzola, the driver who stole his ride from him, indirectly. Van Oostendorp is basically sizing up a move on his past self, in a manner of speaking. Meanwhile, Dylan Bam scripts some more paint off his car as he's trying to catch up to Jurgensmeyer to get onto the podium. That was a debatable line there, Travis. Yeah, he's at half throttle. He's slowing down for that one. I was gonna say, I don't think there's a way the game lets you get away with that. AJ is still pitting. What happened to that car? Or is he just not driving out of the box at this point? Or is he just retired? He's gonna go a second lap down in the race. As through goes Kazilla. May have slightly dozed off there. I blinked a bit longer than expected. But anyway, I need to sit up in my chair. Dylan is close to Jurgensmeyer, and Travis is still close to Kazilla. There's AJ. He's finally free, but he is now 2 down from the leaders. Accidentally hit the PlayStation button there. Whoops. Actually, I don't even know if it mattered. I don't know if it changed anything on the screen. I think a bumper just went flying there. I'm not sure whose car that came from, but saw a bumper for half a second. AJ's got the best seats in the house for a battle for the lead that's honestly closing up. As AJ's going to attempt to unlap himself from Bam. Bam tries to give AJ room, and that puts himself in the wall, and his rear wing is gone. Which is the one part of the car that you don't want missing here. AJ does the same thing against Jurgensmeyer and makes that overtake. It's hardly a secret. AJ has pace in this race to some extent. He just needed to not hit stuff. As difficult as that can be here at Monaco. Obviously, I don't think you really needed me to tell you that. You shouldn't. As Setchel and Lozano pit for unknown reasons. AJ has missed the Nouvelle Chicane. Travis is now right there with Gabe Kazilla. The busted up mug of Knickel filling his mirrors. Probably some sort of a bit of a motivation to kick it into high gear and get on with it or get out of the way. Heroics into Sandoval, but that's not part of the racetrack. Travis rejoins behind the lapped car of AJ, who's now trying to unlap himself from the leader. And just as he does so, somebody has retired from the race. It is Julian Lozano. He's disconnected, so AJ will be on his merry way. He's unlapped himself once, but he's 2 down, so that's only a part of the problem. But now, there are no wave rounds in Project Cars. I don't actually remember for the life of me. I should remember this. But that's the kind of rule that changes from year to year, as I wasn't even paying any attention while I was trying to deliberate on arc rules, and Van Oostendorp has taken the lead from Kazilla, probably a little bit helped by the chaos of AJ unlapping himself. It's not to imply that he can't do that, it's just that's definitely able to throw off a battle for the lead. And then he proceeds to miss the Nouvelle Chicane again. Dylan Bam has lost a lot of time for missing that wing, but Jurgensmeyer finds himself right in this little train of leading cars. Dylan would probably kill, possibly literally, for a safety car right now, but remains to be seen if that will be answered. As now the field is spread out a pretty good bit, and we've had our big crashes happen already. We've had the devastating impact earlier in the run with Crabtree finding the wall. Cazzola looks for a move on the outside of Travis. He could not find anything, but now here comes Travis's backup, Jurgensmeyer. A bumper has been scattered to the wind, and Travis has lost his rear wing. Gabe has basically made just the slightest contact, but that can be all you need, and now, suddenly, Travis's race is practically over. That's not going to be pretty later. You can't bite in for the corner anymore, because if he does, he'll just spin. Losing your rear arrow in this game is basically like having a flat tire. Or at least that's what it feels like at the worst of times. So it really does just kind of feel like you're driving on nothing, but just like ice skates. Jurg dummies a peek down the inside that forces Gabe to adjust his entry to the chicane, gaining Jurgensmeyer those precious hundredths of a second. Bruh. Gabe with every assist versus Jurg with no assists, and you can kind of see the difference with their driving styles. As we head up to, I believe, 6 laps to go from Monaco. We've completed 3/4 of the distance. But we aren't done yet, obviously. And Jurg is still in a position where he plays his cards right, he could walk away with this victory. He has no real pressure from anybody else nearby. Travis's car is damaged, and he's just trying to survive and minimize the points damage. Dylan has had multiple incidents in the last few moments. He's some ways back. He just ran a pretty fast lap though, but it's not fast enough to catch. Travis is too wide alongside Gazzola as we head through the tunnel. Now they're going to have to let off to avoid a disastrous collision. Jurg's still there. They go door to door through the Nouvelle Chicane, but Jurgensmeyer is forced onto that little chokehold of the line. Suddenly Travis, who decided that taking the chicane is for squares, that startled me a tiny bit in the background, but he sort of settled back to status quo. As more random debris is covering the circuit. And Crabtree is now missing his rear wing. And we've had the last second caution, or we're running out of possible laps to have one. I kind of wish we didn't. I would have liked to just go to the end so I could have my dinner in peace, but no. We're going to have a restart with 3 to go, and it's probably going to look like Wreckfest. There goes Allen to take a lap back. Rate of disembodied clapping continues. Oh, now you get settled in my sheet. My sheet. It's my chair and my seat mixed. Or my share. Or cheat. I'm sitting in a cheat. Yeah, no. Hmm. Sort of letting my throat and voice recover as we are under what will be the final caution of the race. And we probably won't be going green this time, but we have to go green next. If I'm not mistaken. Even if we didn't have to, I'm still pretty convinced we would want to anyway. Or what? Even if we wanted another, if we wanted to go another lap under this caution, I don't think we can. As on this final instance, we have Francis, Logan, and Crabtree in the pits, among possibly others, as everybody else is so far away from the pack of cars that didn't pit, such as AJ and Travis, who's stranded on the track exiting Quebec. Not really sure what's going on here. He's just done. He just does not care, I guess. I don't know, honestly. Well, now I'm beginning to wonder if we are going to go green. Because, there's only 4 cars here. Francis is about to get here, as are Logan Cool and AJ Kaneko, but that's only 6 cars, and we need 10. Travis is apparently just dead. Oh, Alwyn is in this train. He's just at the back of it because he's lapped. And then Setchel and Crabtree are just kind of trying to get there. We are not at the race start. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was gonna say, yeah, we're not green this time. Yeah, duh, because we're going towards the chicane, right? We're not Sandabout. no green flag, so we're going to have a 2-lap run to the finish line. Oh boy. Lots of cars not pitting here. I don't know why. We're on the final lap of the race. We have another. Oh, I almost fell asleep. I can't even lie. We are still green because we have 2 laps to go now. But I think what's happened there is we're 3 wide heading towards the back half of the lap, and Gabe Gazzola just punts DIVEBOMB and Bam in retention there. That gives the lead to Jurgensmeyer as Bam has been shuffled into the wall. I saw a spin as I woke up from sound effects, and I don't know who caused it, but it collected AJ, Logan, and a bit of Cavagnaro, though the latter were not really at the front to begin with, so... We are about to reach the final lap of the race, and Jurgensmeyer has a pretty comfortable lead. He just has to take it home from here, basically. Gazzola's not got it quite as easy. He has Crabtree all over his taillights. DIVEBOMB, even with a car that looks like it just went through a can opener, is still trying to salvage 4th place. The Gabe Gazzola can opener did the funny. forceful Dylan gets, especially with a car that's seen better days. He does not force it up the hill as well. He was reminded of what happens when he does that a few moments ago, so doesn't have the nerve to try it a second time. Does he try downhill? No. Does he try the hairpin? No. Francis covers that off. Thank you, trackside cameras, very helpful. Oh, Crabtree gets a wing in there, or a splitter in there, and Gabe's forced to make way. This time Crabtree did not keep the wing there. Splitter, oh my lord, my brain functions are not... Dylan locks the brakes, I think, a little bit there, or suspension damage got the better of him. And that was his last good attempt to pass Francis. Never mind, he has a run, but he can't take it anywhere. And so, a Monaco Grand Prix that was equal parts procession and chaos. It is going to be Jonathan Jerkensmeyer who will barely grab the victory here at Monte Carlo. Not by much, as Cazilla ran the final sector of a lifetime to get right up to him and finish within 0.3 of him for P2. And then Tyler Crabtree comes home in third position. Francis Farin with his return to ARC after debut in the series. He was in IndyCar. My brain is turned off. I can't even explain. He will grab fourth, and a probably rather annoyed Dylan Bam will settle for a mere 7th place, at least on the in-game timing sheet. So yeah, then that stands because he doesn't have any penalties. I got cross-eyed. Not that Logan had the penalty. Or no, he does have one. Oh, he's not even finishing the race, that's why. He's just so done with everything. He and Allen will not even cross the line. And that will conclude matters here for the Porsche Supercup Monaco race. I used to put him interviews to do. My voice is not ready for this.
Was that a fun race for you?
Bro, I almost missed the final restart because I almost fell asleep. What do you think? It was better than Long Beach, but to be fair, I think stepping on Legos was better than that. So
I was gonna say, I feel like anything was better than Long Beach.
We have our 3 podium finishers. I would inquire about anybody else in the chat that wants to, but honestly, my voice is telling me to not do that. Also, my stomach, because I haven't eaten at all today. So, first we have our 3rd place finisher, Tyler Crabtree, who, current objective, survive, I imagine was sort of order of the day for you, wasn't it? You didn't have the most pace, so...
I mean, it wasn't bad, but I think had damage for every lap but 2, so survive was the key there.
You're just keeping, I mean, you said you had damage on most laps, keeping your nose clean wasn't really anything you did.
Yeah, the big long run we had, I got my rear wing clipped onto one of the corners in Sector 2, and then it just completely fell off. So I had to work with that, and then somehow that gave me engine damage. So I ended up going up to 25 engine damage before that yellow, and then I had to drive with that for how long, and then I had a car that was somewhat clean till the end, and I was able to hold on for P3.
Well, it makes sense you got engine damage from that. Your engine's in the back in a Porsche, so...
True.
Then on to the close second to place finisher, Gabe Cazzola. I was almost asleep during the restart, so I'm gonna actually have you take us through what kind of happened between you and Bam heading up the hill through the latter part of Sector 1 there.
Well, I'll start with a caution for debris that definitely did exist. Me and Jordan were just out there, whatever, we had the caution. Of course, since people were getting laps back, everything, we had to wait so long under caution, my tires were freezing cold, I couldn't warm them up no matter what I tried doing.
I noticed.
So, I slid into the corner. By then, Jorg was there, we were 3 wide, and then we go into the corner, and I thought Dylan kind of stopped a little quicker than I was expecting, and then, of course, my tires and brakes are cold. I slide them right into him, can't really do anything else about it.
There's AJ, apparently. Oh, I know he's here, never mind. And then, I mean, yeah, that was the first half, but then I think it's Casino Square, the downhill right. Be a bit of fishing there. Was there any sort of mindset there? Was that also the cold brakes, I suppose?
Well, like I said, I just slid. I couldn't really do anything past then. The tires are cold, brakes are cold. Same thing happened going up the track too.
And so it's just unfortunate not accounting for the cold brakes. It's not easy to warm them up here.
It wasn't even that I wasn't accounting for. He braked a lot earlier than I thought, and then so even if I got on the brakes on a normal time, I don't think it was gonna happen there. We were 3 wide. And then after that, I had damage, and Jorg just kind of ran away with it. Which sucks, you know.
Yeah, and then it still ended up being close. I don't think he had the best run through the last 2 corners. He got it down to about 3/10 at the start-finish.
Yeah. And tires finally got warmed up at the end. I started running them down. Yeah.
And then 2 of the aforementioned Jurgensmeyer, who has taken the victory in the Monaco Grand Prix with fenders. Did you actually expect to just be able to drive away there, or go even before that caution? Or what was your plan of attack if you had to take it under green normally?
Well, Gabe's making some mistakes. I did get to the inside of him up the tunnel, but I left him a lot of room, and he ended up getting ahead of me there. But I mean, I was just hoping for mistakes to get by Gabe. That was the only way I was going to get by. Then at the end, it was just chaos. I didn't really deserve to win, but I mean,
Yeah, Monaco, the fastest driver is rarely the one that wins, especially in a race like that one with 4 cautions, which honestly was less than I thought. And then were you, at the tail end when Gabe was catching you, were you just taking your foot off the gas, metaphorically, or were you actually, pushing to stay ahead through the last sector of the race?
Well, usually when I'm leading at the end of these races, I'm scared to crash out and do something stupid and throw it away, so... I mean,
especially here.
At IndyCar at Coda, I mean, I was so scared of making another mistake, and Stout's got me there, and then here, I was just taking it so easy. I thought Gabe was pretty damaged after that, but I mean, he ended up getting back up to me at the end, so I mean, yeah, we take it.
You made the pass on the cooldown. I think his AI stuck the move. But yeah. So with the winner, Jurgensmeyer's interview complete, that will wrap things up for me. But I do believe we have a certain Thrustmaster 2150 noises in the background. That's not. Is that wheel? Yeah, that is that wheel is. Sage, I'm pretty sure you were just here to handle the outro, because you never wrote that script.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to ask anything about the race control decisions.
No, I just assumed it was just a crash I didn't catch, or debris.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if that came up in the interview, so I figured I'd try and explain that if it came up, but if it didn't, then no worries.
As I mean, Gabe mentioned debris, but I think I actually did see it go flying off somebody's car.
Yeah, it was very much there, but yeah. Anyway, I can handle the outro if you like.
Yeah, because I mean, my throat is dead. In spite of me spending most of the race not talking, I haven't had anything to drink or eat all day, so my throat just desires something to drink.
Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the Monaco Supercup, we are back in a couple weeks' time for another European track. I believe we're somewhere in France, maybe the Red Bull Ring. I can't quite recall. But with that said, special shout out to all of our sponsors, especially DiveBomb for helping advertise us and showcase all of our incredible drivers. Sim League Pro for helping the league function as well as it does, because we have so much in terms of statistics that we keep track of. Just it's such an incredible service. Shout out to Burning Rubber Podcast for their podcasts and all the cool interviews they do with people in the NASCAR world. Shout out to James McAdam for allowing us to use his screenshots with no actual payment in terms of a beautiful partnership. Love that. And shout out to AJK Design, who does all of our graphics and handles social media. If you guys enjoyed that, stick around. We'll be back tomorrow night for the actual Monaco Grand Prix. Consider this our support race, a little sneak peek into what is or isn't to come. I would imagine the F1 race will be a little bit better, considering there's no barrier clipping in F1 22. But with that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next event.